The rain had already soaked through her thin coat by the time the diner's neon lights flickered on for the night shift, casting a tired glow over the empty street. She stood there for a moment, holding one child's hand while the other slept against her shoulder, wondering how life had unraveled so completely. Just a year ago, she had a home, a partner, a sense of certainty. Now she had nothing but two small lives depending on her strength, and a heart that refused to break only because it couldn't afford to. Inside, the smell of coffee and fried food wrapped around her like a distant memory of comfort. She slipped into a corner booth, trying not to draw attention. Her son, barely 5, looked up at her with eyes too old for his age. "Mom, are we staying here tonight?" he whispered. She forced a smile, brushing damp hair from his forehead. "Just for a little while, okay? I'll figure something out." She had been saying those same words for weeks. The waitress hesitated before approaching, clearly noticing the worn clothes, the exhaustion, the silent plea in her eyes. "You okay?" she asked gently. The woman nodded quickly, almost defensively. "Just, can I sit here for a bit? I'll order something soon." But they both knew she didn't have money to the far end of the diner. A man in a tailored coat sat alone, his presence quiet yet commanding. He wasn't looking at his phone or eating. He was watching, not in judgment, but in curiosity. He noticed the way she shielded her children from the cold, how she pretended everything was fine, how she refused to beg even when desperation was written all over her face. He stood up slowly and walked toward her table. Each step felt heavier than it should have, as if he were crossing not just a room, but a boundary he rarely crossed. Wealth had made his life comfortable, predictable, but also distant from the kind of raw reality sitting right in front of him. "May I sit here?" he asked. She looked up, startled. Instinctively, she pulled her children closer. I, I don't have anything," she said quickly, her voice edged with embarrassment. "I'm not asking for anything," he replied softly, taking a seat across from her without waiting for permission. "I just wanted to talk." Her son watched him carefully, protective in his own small way. The man noticed and offered a gentle smile. "You're doing a good job looking after your family," he said to the boy, who didn't smile back but seemed slightly less tense. The woman exhaled slowly. "Look, if this is about charity, I don't want." "It's not charity," he interrupted, calm but firm. "It's an opportunity." She frowned, unsure whether to believe him. People didn't just offer opportunities to strangers like her. Not without a catch. "What kind of opportunity?" she asked cautiously. "One that starts with dinner," he said, signaling the waitress, "and ends with you not having to wonder where your children will sleep tonight." Tears threatened to spill, but she fought them back. Pride had been the only thing she had left. "Why?" she asked. "Why would you help me?" He paused, as if searching for the simplest truth. "Because once, a long time ago, someone helped my mother when she had nothing. And I promised myself if I ever had the chance, I wouldn't look away." Silence filled the space between them, heavy but not uncomfortable. For the first time in weeks, her shoulders relaxed just a little. Dinner arrived. Warm, real food, and her children ate like they hadn't in days. The man watched quietly, his expression unreadable but his eyes soft. Afterward, he slid a card across the table. "This is my address. There's a small guest house on the property. You and your children can stay there, for as long as you need." She stared at the card, her hands trembling. "This doesn't feel real." "It is," he said, "but it's only the beginning. If you're willing, I can also offer you a job. Something stable. Something that lets you rebuild." A single tear escaped, tracing down her cheek. This time, she didn't wipe it away. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking as they stepped out into the rain again. It didn't feel as cold anymore. For the first time in a long while, the future didn't look like a dark, endless road, but a door, slightly open, waiting for her to walk through.